With rookie minicamp, OTAs, and mandatory minicamp now in the rearview mirror, one thing is becoming clear. The Raiders front office is starting to believe. You can feel the confidence growing. There's a sense that this draft class might be something special, maybe even franchise-altering. Early signs, they're everywhere. Rookies are turning heads, standing out, and already pushing for serious roles, day one roles. And that's not just hype. Let's start with Dante Thornton. This kid isn't just showing flashes, he's demanding attention. At 6'5" with blazing 4.3 speed, he's already drawing comparisons to physical freaks like DK Metcalf and even Calvin Johnson. Geno Smith has taken notice, openly saying, "This guy's a real target." That's not casual praise. That's a quarterback spotting a weapon. But it's not just Thornton. Look across the board. Caleb Rogers is quietly stacking strong practices. Darian Porter's athleticism jumps off the field. And yes, Ashton Genty is as advertised, but there are others flying under the radar who might shock people come training camp. Of course, real evaluations begin when the pads come on, but momentum is building. These rookies are competing like they've got something to prove, and many of them do. The energy feels different this year. It's sharper, hungrier. So here's the question. Outside of Ashton Genty, which rookie do you think will make the biggest impact this season? Sound off in the comments and stay locked in. This class might just be the foundation of a new era for the silver and black. So outside of Ashton Genty, who do you think will rise the fastest? Darian Porter, Dante Thornton, Jack Beck? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's get into what's really happening with this Raiders roster. Now here's the crazy part. When you step back and evaluate this rookie class, it's not just hype. These aren't just depth pieces. This group is full of players already carving out roles, either as day one starters or immediate impact backups. Coming into the offseason, it was no secret. The Raiders had serious work to do, holes all over the roster, questions everywhere. But this draft class, it's answering them fast. Take Dante Thornton again. He was expected to be buried on the depth chart, maybe wide receiver 4 or wide receiver 5. But now, he's gunning for that WR2 spot. He's making plays, running with the ones, and showing he belongs. Jack Beck, already a reliable depth option at wide receiver. Tommy Mellott, a converted quarterback, is flying up the depth chart and working with the second unit. Versatility like that doesn't go unnoticed. Charles Grant is locking down the backup left tackle role. Caleb Rogers is pushing hard at right guard. These rookies are not waiting their turn. They're taking their shot now. Even Cam Miller, currently quarterback 3, has sparked buzz, especially with rumors swirling about a possible Aiden O'Connell trade. And then there's Ashton Genty, the crown jewel of this class. He's already penciled in as a day one starter on defense, no question. And that's not all. The Raiders added key veterans in free agency: Jermaine Pratt, Elandon Roberts, Devin White, Lonnie Johnson, Eric Stokes, Jeremy Chin, and they complement the youth movement perfectly. But keep an eye on names like Darian Porter, Tonka Hemingway, and J.J. Weaver. They haven't cracked the starting depth yet, but once those pads go on, don't be surprised if they surge forward. At the top of it all stands Ashton Genty, a different breed. A game changer? The kind of defensive weapon this team has been missing for years. Ashton Genty wasn't just impressive at the combine, he was dominant. Among all running backs, he posted the highest production score. And when it comes to raw ability, he brings generational level talent to the table. This is exactly the kind of player the Raiders needed. Why? Because last year, the Raiders' offense wasn't just underwhelming, it was historically bad. They ranked 29th in points per game, 29th in touchdowns, 30th in third down conversion rate, dead last, 32nd in yards per carry. That's not a slump. That's a crisis. They couldn't run the football, period. Vegas was also 30th in rush attempts per game, and again dead last in rushing yards. Teams didn't fear their ground game. Opponents teed off, knowing the Raiders couldn't control the tempo or chew clock. This is where Genty comes in, and why he can change everything. He's not just a back with speed or power. He's a complete package. Vision, balance, explosiveness, and the kind of patience that only the great ones possess. He's the type of runner who can flip a field, break tackles, and control the pace of a game. and he's walking into an offense that desperately needs him. Too often last season, the Raiders lined up in spread formations. 3 wide receivers, a tight end, no real run threat. Defenses didn't respect it, and they didn't have to. It made life harder for the quarterback, for the line, for everyone. But with Genty in the backfield, that changes. Suddenly, the Raiders have balance. They have unpredictability. They have hope. This isn't just about plugging a hole. This is about reshaping an identity. Last season, it was all too easy for defenses to read the Raiders. They knew what was coming, and they dared the offense to beat them. You'd see it constantly. A loaded box, defenders crowding the line of scrimmage, almost mocking the quarterback. Go ahead, try to throw. And with Aiden O'Connell struggling under center, teams had no reason to back off. It was predictable, it was painful, but now everything changes. Enter Geno Smith. Enter Ashton Genty. Suddenly, this offense has options. Genty isn't just a runner, he's a creator. He breaks tackles on first contact. He finds daylight when there shouldn't be any. That kind of presence in the backfield demands attention. It forces defenses to commit extra bodies to stop the run. And that's when the magic happens. Because once teams stack the box to contain Genty, they expose themselves. One high safety, single coverage, one-on-one matchups across the field, Dante Thornton on the outside, Jacoby Myers working the other boundary, Trey Tucker or Jack Beck in the slot, tight ends like Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer causing chaos up the seam. You can't double everyone. You can't cover all that space. Not when you're stacking the box. And now Geno Smith has a clear path. Pre-snap reads become yes, no decisions. Is the safety up? Boom, deep shot to Thornton. Is the linebacker frozen? Hit Mayer underneath. The Raiders' offense becomes unpredictable, versatile, and dangerous. Even on plays where the line doesn't open a clear lane, Genty's instincts take over. He sees the field, makes a man miss, and turns a broken play into a gain. And with Geno slinging the ball, defenses are going to think twice before crowding the line. That fear, that hesitation, that's how you break a defense. The Raiders finally have the pieces. Now it's time to let them play. Here's the truth. If defenses stack the box, the Raiders can burn them outside. If they don't, they'll hand it to Ashton Genty and let him go to work. Either way, this offense finally has the tools to punish teams for their decisions. Genty is a guaranteed day one starter, and he's not alone. Dante Thornton, locked in. He's bringing size, speed, and matchup nightmares from the moment the season kicks off. Jack Beck might not start, but he's going to get significant reps. The coaching staff loves his reliability and route running. Charles Grant is one of those rare linemen you can plug in when needed, and if they shift him to right tackle, he's got the frame and footwork to handle it. Caleb Rogers is also holding his own, giving the Raiders depth they badly needed up front. And then there's Darian Porter, an absolute steal. He fits the mold of an Al Davis prototype. Tall, explosive, sticky in coverage. He thrives in zone and brings length and speed that this defense hasn't had in years. He's a difference maker and a perfect piece for what Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham want to build. We're talking about 4 to 5 rookies who could be impact players right away. Genty, Thornton, Porter, Beck, maybe even Grant. That's not normal, and it doesn't stop there. With Christian Wilkins possibly sidelined, Tonka Hemingway and J.J. Weaver could both see serious snaps on the defensive front. That brings us to 6 or 7 rookies. Yes, 7, who could play meaningful football in year 1. You just don't see that often. Maybe the Packers last year were an exception, but most teams don't get this kind of early return on a draft class. Even Tommy Mellott, depending on how things shake out with injuries or packages, could find his way onto the field. Cam Miller might not see action right away, but with a long season ahead, anything's possible.